Good morning, you motherfuckers. How you badass motherfuckers doing? This motherfucker's still getting back on here. Drunk motherfucker. Good morning. It's the All on Me, the morning drinking show. Getting fucking back on here. Shit ton of days in a row. Shit ton of motherfucking days. Consistency. We getting on here talking about life. We talking about all these things that motherfuckers be going through. Good morning. You grab yourself something to drink. Buckle in. Every day's a fucking new day. Man, would I start right here? So grateful for life. Right? Someone that really was a part of making a difference in my community passed away yesterday. And, just reflecting on life this morning, how important it is, how fucking precious it is. Here we go. 1 minute. 5 motherfuckers in the U.S. just took their last breath. I keep pulling back to that shit. This life is so freaking precious, you guys. All we do is a lot of us just going through bullshitting ourselves, numbing the pain, right? Avoiding the fucking hard decisions. We just stuck. We complacent. Is that you? Right? Have you disengaged from your dreams, your goals, challenging yourself? You've just settled. You've just settled into life, into a routine that just leaves you empty every single day. That cup just gets empty. Like my coffee cup's about to be here in a minute. That's you walking around the streets. Empty like a motherfucker. And what kind of emptiness am I talking about? What kind of emptiness am I talking about when I say fill your cup? It's energy, guys. This is an energetic game called life. We are bioelectronical creations. We got energy running through our veins. And a lot of times we're spending way too much time with people that just drain us of that life force energy. But there's other motherfuckers out there, right, that when we're around them, they fill us with energy, right? They build us up. They pick us up. And they leave. When we detach from them, we feel a hell of a lot better about ourselves, but not in some fake, shallow way, right? In a genuine way, these people, when we're around them, right, there's just something about them, man. We want to be better versions of ourselves. I hope that's why you're logging on here today and tuning in to the It's All on Me, the morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg, as I'm chronicling 10 years of transformation, rebuilding myself as a man, as a human, turning into a fucking whole and complete person. And man, it's been a hell of a ride these last 10 years. And I'm so grateful that I finally was able to find my voice, putting this message out here, hitting an audience with the truth. And it gets deep. It gets deep. Those of you that have been tuning in, listening every minute, every second pass, hearing what this motherfucker's got to say, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to log in here, right? But the proof is in the pudding, you guys. You got to start doing some things. Right? Some of this stuff has to start getting put into action. It's action that brings about results. We can meditate on this stuff. We can pray about this stuff. But if we just sitting there waiting, right, and there's no action, chances are a whole lot of shit ain't going to change. I've listened to some people that I know they're like, it's like superpower. They just want to sit there. They can sit there and manifest things, right? But that's some really high level energy state of being, enlightenment, right? To be enlightened. And not a whole lot of us are enlightened. No. We are not enlightened. I know that drunk motherfucker right there wasn't enlightened. But this motherfucker right here barking at you every single day is becoming that. We ain't there yet. We ain't trying to self-proclaim any kind of shit like that. But it's coming there. It's definitely a right path I'm on. right? And it's been, it's the thing that fuels me. It's getting me up, right? Picking myself up, having you guys reach out with encouragement, encouraging me for this message, right? Vulnerability in 2022 from a man's fucking point of view, right? A lot of us men, man, we fucking, we ain't stepping up in this day and age, man. A lot of soft motherfuckers out there, right? And society needs strong men, but not assholes. There's a difference, right? Being strong and masculine, but being, vulnerable in connection with our feelings, man. Healing that fucking childhood trauma, that little boy inside of us. And for you women, same thing. Y'all been through some shit, ain't you? Right? Put a lot of them expectations on them Disney movies. Man, we've been talking about how many of y'all got sold the Disney fucking movie in terms of relationships. And then this motherfucker comes on here yesterday talking about attachment styles, right? Anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and ultimately secure attachment, right? And man, what does it take to get there, right? What does it take to get there? Because I've been through it. I've been through it all, you guys. 21 years of marriage, right? Get into that dating scene, post-divorce. Anybody related to this message, right? And the shit show of dating in 2022. Fuck. Y'all motherfuckers need to raise your standards. Quit settling for that bullshit. How many days are we for Valentine's Day? Who's scrambling to dig up the dead bodies of the past, the dead relationships of the past, just so you can get what? A little piece of ass. But you're going to lose that peace of mind. Some of y'all will hear this message, right? You'll even heed the message, but you'll still give in. You'll relent, right? Because that's just our human nature, right? We want that pleasure. And if we don't have discipline, right? And we don't have self-love, right? If you're not loving yourself, which is this whole thing, it's all on me. You got to start with your fucking self, man. Relationship. And I've been talking this shit for a long time. A long time. This is not a new message for me. That's why it is so clear. I talked to somebody yesterday and they're like, man, how are you prepping? Like, how do you know what you're going to talk about each and every day? And it's like, again, you guys, I've been talking to you. How do I start my mornings, right? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is a fucking program, you guys. And the proof is in the fucking pudding. The proof is in the fucking pudding. I'm putting my shit out there, my whole life out there. You guys are seeing the power and the strength, right? 43-year-old man picking up fucking mountains, 4,000 pounds, one set. I mean, that's supernatural shit. Transforming the fucking health, the nutrition, the mindset, right? Sobriety, disconnecting from toxic fucking relationships, learning to be a mountain, standing on my own. That don't mean I'm telling everybody, go fuck yourself. Fuck you, I don't want to be in your life. No, I'm trying to cultivate, right? A national, worldwide presence of motherfuckers that are healthy, whole, complete, secure, right? So that we know who the fuck's to our left and right. Because we're ready to show up as our authentic self. And it starts with what? Gratitude. To be grateful, right? Someone I know, a leader in my community, someone that really advocated for things that matter to me, right? Passed away yesterday at a young age in his 50s. That's crazy. This life is too fucking fragile, you guys. It is a game of life and death. If y'all motherfuckers are just thinking about the life part, man, this is a game of life and death. Ain't no motherfuckers. We all say it, right? We all have said it at one point in our time. Hey, no one's guaranteed today. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. We've all said it, right? But how many of us really believe that shit? How many of us really fucking let that shit resonate? That, man, if today truly was your last day and you don't know a damn thing, you have no idea. You got plans for today. You got a routine that you're going to try and fulfill today, responsibilities. But you don't know what the fuck's about to hit you in an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. No one fucking knows. right? We wake up and act as if somehow our plan is going to go flawlessly. And even then, we kind of, as the more you adult, you realize to lower some expectations, right? But the one expectations that we've lowered the most is the ones with ourselves. Because we shouldn't, unless you're in like a leadership role with people, and even then you need, if you got high expectations for those that you work around, right? Expectations of excellence, well, you better exemplify that shit, because then people are looking at you to be the role model. And if you're a hypocrite, walking fucking contradiction, talking out of both sides of your fucking mouth, what do you expect? You expect people to respect you? Right? If you're going around fucking barking, humiliating them, and you ain't demonstrating the expectations that you are talking about, people see through the bullshit, man. I'm telling you guys, gotta knock that shit off. You gotta start walking the walk. That's the it's all on me, right? We're taking what fucking total ownership around here? You gotta take total ownership of your life. And some of y'all been through some tremendously hard shit. Hard shit. We all got shit. All of us. Every single one of us. And who likes to smell shit? Not me. That was the best part about COVID. I talk about it, man. I lost that smelling shit for like 8 to 9 months. I didn't know why, but I didn't complain too much. It was weird. But we all got shit, and we all try to hide our shit, right? We're ashamed of it. We're embarrassed of it. We try to define ourselves by our shit, and that's some really bad stuff. That's a toxic relationship with yourself. If you're defining yourself by your shit, I was one of them right there. That mugshot. Define myself as a failure, a loser, an abuser, some man that could never get outside of the shadow of that fucking failure of life. That's a life failure. Does that mean I'm a failure? No, that means I failed as a man, right? I've failed as a man more than once, plenty of times. But there's a difference between how you handle yourself and your failures, right? Are you someone that fucking sits there, cries, goes into that fucking self-destructive mode? I've been there too, right? Numbing the pain, woe is me, just self-destructive, right? And we do a lot of different things, from substance abuse to fucking lowering our standards, living promiscuous lives, right? Just thinking that, that is what's going to give us joy and pleasure. And it doesn't. We still feel like shit. And that's this message, is how the fuck can we overcome this shit? Aren't you tired of feeling fucking like crap every day? Every fucking day. Like, yeah, you get a little hit. Something gets you going. Right? But a lot of us are just, fuck, another fucking day. Can't wait for the weekend. We just got 2 more days. It's like, man, I've been there. Are you there right now? Are you literally just suffering? You see other people, you're like, how the fuck are these guys going skiing today and snowboarding today and hiking in the middle of the day, and I'm over here busting my fucking ass, right? We've all probably seen that meme with the fucking, it's like Joker, right? And he's like getting ready for work. Me getting ready for work with some girls selling farts or some bullshit. I don't know what the fuck's going on in this world. And neither should you. You shouldn't be worried so much about everything that's going on in the world. Because the only world that matters is the one that's going on right here in your fucking head and in your soul and in your heart and your body. That's the only thing you got control over. And you got to take ownership of it. The whole story, you got to accept it. There's something so powerful. How do you expect someone to accept you for who you are if you can't accept yourself for who you are? Right? We got all these false fucking beliefs about what a relationship's supposed to bring to you. Right? It's a beautiful thing when someone chooses to love you. Chooses, listen to that. Chooses to love you. That means that they could change their mind. As humans, we should all know that, especially if we've been through some dirt in terms of relationships. We've had some heartbreak, right? We don't understand why some people just get up and fucking walk out of our lives. And we sit there broken, right? Or we jump into a fucking other relationship real quick. The next motherfucker to DM me, I'm going to jump in that motherfucking relationship. Because what? I don't want to sit there and heal. I don't want to process. I don't want to try and grow as a person, knowing that what if you raise your fucking standard, you start raising your energy, you start doing the work on you, guess what? That shit's going to come back. It's going to come back tenfold because you're going to raise your standard. You ain't going to be down there in the dumps no more. And you're going to start getting better people, right? I've been talking to somebody that it's like one of the ways that they reflect upon where they are is by really being conscious and observing the type of people that are coming into their life. Like that's a really amazing place to be. When you can realize where you are spiritually, energetically, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those things by just saying, what type of people am I meeting? Like the new people, not the people you've been hanging around. You could just look there, but most of y'all lying to yourselves about the situation you find yourself in, your network, right? But when you start to look at who are these new people I'm meeting? Are these quality people or are these questionable people, right? Which ones do you hang out with? Quality people, like genuine fucking quality, not a bunch of bullshitters, right? Or are you just hanging out with gossipers, always talking about other fucking people, man? That's what, you know, like if you're a person that's always talking about other motherfuckers, we got work to do. We got some work to do. That's the hope, man. On Thursday fucking morning, that's the hope, right? Is if you're spending a lot of time talking about other people, talking about all these issues of the day, COVID and politics and fucking this party versus that party and this issue versus that issue, right? And you ain't an elected official and you worried about all that bullshit, we got some work to do, right? Hit me up or stay tuned, but start putting in some of this work, right? Journaling every day, you guys. It's starting to write your fucking story down. Write down your thoughts. Organize all this shit that's going on in your head. You get so fucking overwhelmed. Some of y'all just need to fucking turn off the TV, right? Disconnect from that. Your show's gonna still be there in fucking 5 years from now, right? I was in this relationship in 2020, and again, I don't watch TV, and this person was really into TV shows, all these series, Vikings and Walking Dead and all this bullshit, man. And I ain't never watched that. I ain't ever watched The Walking Dead until I met this person, and there we were. You know, we turned it into like quality time. You know, when we'd be together, we'd be watching all the series. I think I got to like, I don't know, season 6 or something, season 7. Just little by little, but now that person's out of my life, I ain't still watching that bullshit because it's not really who I am. I don't have time for that. I don't get entertained by watching some of that shit. Like it's nice, I'll do it, right? If someone else that I appreciate spending time with, if that's one of their things, guess what? That's part of building a relationship, right? Doing things that other people like, not just telling them go fuck yourself. Right? It's nice to do that. I think we all can feel that, hey, if there's something that interests you, someone that you care about, if they're willing to do it with you, that's a healthy thing, right? I can tell you that was a big part of, you know, really the clarity for me to let go of a 21-year marriage is me and my ex-wife. We stopped doing life together, right? We just grew apart. And we stopped doing life. I would be like, hey, you know, I got the kids. You know, you guys see me. I'm very adventurous. I love hiking. I love camping. I love just going on adventure. And my ex-wife, she wasn't about that life. Every weekend, almost every weekend, I'd be like, hey, do you want to go to this place or that camping? And it was just always pushback. No. And it was just rejection. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? We're obviously not doing life together. We're not on the same page. And sometimes you just realize therapy isn't going to close the gap. And so what do? Right? When you're with somebody that you're just not doing life together, like you're still sleeping in the same bed, you're waking up, you miserable motherfuckers, right? Passing each other, not like the embrace isn't there. The peck is cold, right? That kiss that kiss is no longer a intimate connection. It's a cold motherfucking peck. right? It's like just routine. It's ceremonial. It's there, but there's no passion. There's no romance. There's no connection there because y'all choosing to do life separate for whatever reasons, right? A lot of times there's so much hurt, resentment, and a lot of it has to do with we don't know how to communicate our feelings, right? I know from a masculine standpoint, men, little boys, we're not taught that shit. We're taught to, hey, don't you start crying. You need to, don't you start that shit, right? Don't be a little pussy. Don't be a little bitch, right? Little boys being told shit like that, right? You get emotional, right? Something gets you down, right? And you're shamed. You're shamed for fucking expressing emotions. So what do? You bottle that shit up, right? You're not able to process it. And, some of you girls, the same thing, right? Little girl, know your place, right? Your job is not to talk. You're just supposed to sit there and look pretty, right? And y'all little girls had that experience from dad, stepdad, some kind of masculine fucking dude in your life. I just need you to be an accessory. You're not really supposed to have a fucking purpose and meaning to your life other than you're just, my support character in my story called life. Anybody experiencing that right now, where you don't really get to have your needs met, express yourself, because your whole life is caught up in what? The motherfucking man that's out there hustling. And some of you guys find yourself like that, right? There's some sorry ass motherfuckers out there too, right? You riding the fucking pine, you got a woman in your life doing all the fucking hustling, right? She's earning that check and you just sitting there fucking bullshitting. Who knows what the fuck you doing? That's a bullshit. That's a motherfucking bullshit. You're a weak motherfucker, right? I'm telling you, as a man, you got to have your own castle, man. You living in someone else's fucking castle, you ain't a man. Let's just start it right there. I don't give a fuck what you say. You are not a man if you're living in someone else's castle. You got to have your own, even if it's a little tiny fucking castle. You will not have dignity for yourself. And that's just going to cause a lot of problems, right? I hear about it all the time, man. You women fucking putting up with these lazy ass motherfucking men and they hide behind, oh, I'm an artist. I'm all this bullshit, right? I get a free pass. I'm not fucking providing, not hustling, right? I just want to fucking take it easy, easy street. No one should be taking the fucking easy street in 2022. I don't care what your fucking gender is, right? Binary, I don't give a fuck, right? That's one thing about me, man. You ain't gonna get judgment. Just don't be fucking trying to fuck with other people and don't fuck with them kids. That's my fucking no-go. No fucking go zone right there. Whatever fuck you want to call yourself and do, whatever, man. You're an adult. You do whatever you want to do. But you should be doing something. You need to be putting in some effort into this fucking day and age, right? Some of y'all motherfuckers just still fucking stashed at fucking mom's house. Let's get real talk right now. And the reason why you feel so fucking less of a human being, you feel like you're not worthy, because guess what? Mom didn't ever kick your ass out of the fucking nest. There's some codependency there, you guys. How the fuck are you supposed to develop yourself as an adult, right? If you're still under your parents' fucking authority and you're old, you 30, you 40, 50 motherfuckers. But, I'm doing it because, I need to take care of my mom, my dad. They're not healthy. All this bullshit. That's excuses. That's that little bitch voice, right? I can't tell you. I remember one guy, his story time, right? I was running Santa Fe Community College's Veterans Resource Center. And it was a great experience. I mentioned yesterday that, when I was in that role, I was married. And man, talking to all these single dudes and girls, these women and men coming through there, veterans and dependents. And they would tell me about all the single life, the dating scene. Fuck, that shit would make me be appreciative of the relationship I was in. Because even though there was shit in the relationship, there was stability there. You don't get to 21 years of a relationship without some stability, right? Even though there was some dysfunction, we were still able to always bring it back. And we realized over time that we had spread apart. But I'm back at the community college, and I remember this fucking dude, good fucking looking guy, very intelligent, very smart. And, but he was just so fucking insecure with himself, right? Still very codependent on mom, right? And just a lot of wounds, a lot of hurt in this man. But he was in a situation where he was living with a woman and her mom. And, you know, it was like that relationship, it wasn't working for him. He was every day, he'd come to work fucking complaining about it. And I would always listen to him, and I would try and speak into his life. And it just became very obvious to me that, dude, like, there's something about the arrangement you have right now that you need to fucking grow the fuck up. You need to step out. You need to be the king of your own castle, right? You're over here living with a woman and her mom, and your value is fucking shit. They're putting you down, right? They're shaming you about stuff. He would always complain, you know? And I'm like, dude, what do you expect? You're a fucking man. Like, you're not called to go fucking shack up with somebody, man. Like, men, and I'm speaking to men right now. There's a lot of independent women out there, and I got mad credit for you, especially single moms, right? I was raised by a single mom. I know what it was, man. Always scraping by, always getting by. And so in this day and age, the level of independence is great. And that's why no one wants to commit, because we've all had our hearts broken and everybody's just wanting to fuck around, right? Everybody just wants that piece of ass, no fucking commitment. And y'all giving it up too. So keep complaining, but y'all keep giving it up. And expecting what, right? If you give it up, first date shit, you know, what do you expect? So anyways, my advice to this motherfucker was, look, dude, if you want to fucking reset your life, like, you need to have your own place, man. Because right now, you're getting fucking put down all the time. You don't feel fucking like safe, or, you know, like this is your place. It's like, man, you need to fucking go get your own place, man. What if she just breaks up with you, throws your ass out of the fucking house? And it was really hard for him, but he heeded my fucking advice, right? And I saw this man grow in a lot of ways during our chit chats. And, you know, this was probably 6 years ago. And, you know, he went and got his own little apartment, and it sucked because he was living in a beautiful, beautiful fucking home, right? Big old lavish house, luxury, right? And he moved into a rinky dink little studio type fucking apartment. And I know he was pissed. I know he got a little mad at me about it because he heeded my advice. I told him, dude, you got to be the king of your own castle. Eventually that will lead you to a better place, but you got to start somewhere, and you got to live within your means. You got to get out of the nest, right? Because even him, I could tell he was very codependent with his mother, right? And he was probably doing something that I would have done, even though I was very survival mode from an early age. So that was the difference between us. Even though I had that codependency, I could see that we both probably had that with our moms. But he was playing it out with this girlfriend of his. He was using her as being his mom. And again, that's not sexy. That's not attractive, right? Any of you ladies want to chime in today, right? When you got a man that you're having to be his fucking mom, right? He's looking for you to comfort him as the mom every day, not as in a romantic partner. And you're looking to him to fucking lead. But how the fuck is he going to lead when you're the only one going to work every day? What the fuck kind of leadership is that, right? And I think for even me, as I look at the future and say, hey, what's the possibility of another relationship, right? Not some bullshit fucking one and done, some casual fucking promiscuous hookups. I want fucking real life partnership. You know, that's going to be some equality, because that's that healthy, secure relationship. Two people coming together, very independent, right? That's all these independent motherfuckers like myself, men and women, right? I think we know how to fucking operate in relationships. We just not going to tolerate no bullshit. And it's hard to sort through all the shit, all these low standard fucking people. So the only way that we're going to get better as a society is every person needs to take what? Responsibility for them fucking selves. You got to start fucking focusing on you. Turn off the fucking TV and look in the fucking mirror for 3 hours. Really evaluate who you are, how you feel, right? And you got to be kind of fucking raw about this shit. If you're looking at a fat fucking version of yourself, and I've been there, I'm not shaming none of you. You guys can see all the fucking Fat Greg pictures. I was disgusted by that man. And there's a lot of you that have been listening to this. You defined me as that man because that's who you knew me as for like this 5-year period. And I used to identify as that man, just like I would identify as the fucking failure in this mugshot. But the truth of the matter is I've been alive for 43 years. I've been fat for like 5 or 6 years. That is not a majority of my life. But all of those of you that met me during those 5 years were like, oh, this is a fat guy. And wow, you lost all this weight. No, right? The most inauthentic version of myself was the fat motherfucker. That fat slob, that lazy fucking motherfucker. Lazy, complacent, mailing it in. A shrunk version of a fucking man. That is not who I am. I've always been fucking high performing, high fucking pace, high speed, low drag, tip of the spear motherfucker my whole life. Whole fucking life. No bullshit. Right? Top fucking athlete in this community. Santa Fe, New Mexico. The guide on, man. The fucking guide over there in the Marine Corps. Fucking Navy corpsman running laps around the whole fucking company. Right? Tip of the fucking spear. But I let it go. Right? Because my addiction got a hold of me. And that shit broke me. My relationship with alcohol. Hardest relationship to break up with. But I was mentoring and coaching this man. Or at least he was a man visually, but he was a boy emotionally. Guess who else was there? This motherfucker barking on this morning. I was there, you guys. Right? Oh, like not even realizing it. And that's the crazy thing. I didn't even realize this was going on. I didn't realize that I was still trying to fucking meet the needs of the little boy inside of me that had the fucking trauma bond with my mom, the codependency. And then the third piece of that relationship with my mom was when she started her new family, right? When I was about 10, I felt abandoned. I felt like I had lost my mom because the way that she broke it on me that she was in a new relationship was she got pregnant. And so, you know, her excitement starting this new family, I processed that shit as I'm abandoned. I'm no longer the focus of her life. She's moved on emotionally from me. And in many ways she did, but she never, I've had this conversation with my mom in this, you know, in the past year in a very healing, safe environment, non-judgmental, right? For me to open up as a man and allow us to have a healthy conversation. To say, hey, I know you didn't intend for me to feel this way, right? I know this is not how you wanted me to feel. I know that you never were intending for me to feel abandoned. You didn't intentionally abandon me, but me as a child at 10 years old, I processed the experience that happened, your evolution of relationship, you starting a new family, a new relationship, right? That my identity wasn't a part of because my whole identity was what? With her. And this is at 10 years old. So the cast and the mold had been set from 0 to 10 years old. That's when you are fucking emotionally set in your ways, whether it was traumatic, right? Or whether it was emotionally secure. And the truth is the data shows that about 50% of the population is secure attachment style. And then you have avoidant and anxious attachment makes up about 25 to 20%. So the good thing is it's about half of the people you're going to meet have a secure attachment style, right? Don't have that clingy, needy fucking energy. And also don't have the push away fucking, you know, energy when like rejecting a sense of being over controlled, to where they do all kind, man, there's all kinds of shit that comes out in that psychological drama. But a safe, secure person is going to give you space, allow you to express yourself, have curiosity instead of judgment and fucking feeling attacked, taking everything personal. But this man, I was proud of him because he did heed that advice, and he got his own little apartment, and he had to kind of start rebuilding himself. And that relationship dissipated that he was in. And, you know, there's a lot of motherfuckers out there right now, right? You got all these excuses why you still living at home, why you still under the shadow, why you're not fucking working, why you're just living this mediocre fucking bullshit life. There's all these fucking reasons, and all of them are fucking lies. They're all bullshit. I'm sorry. There is no fucking reason in this day and age why you aren't standing up on your own 2 feet. Well, you know, other than codependency, man. Codependency, right? And a lot of it's culturally speaking. You know, I know out here in New Mexico, we got this Hispanic culture, right? And a lot of it has to do with the way that we're raised, man. The codependency. I broke free from that shit. You know, I joined the military when I was 17 years old, graduated high school 17. Right? One of my closest friends is 2 months older than me, and I graduated a whole entire year ahead of this motherfucker. And so I was always just getting after it, and I was survival mode. But I had that same fucking brokenness inside of me, where I was always looking for a woman, right, to replace my mother. And that's some unhealthy shit. And I'm sure some of you women, if you fucking evaluate the kind of men that are coming around, if they're acting like this childish shit, they got some trauma in there. And it's a sad thing, because men, we're taught to suppress that shit, right? We're taught to fucking hold it in, man. Don't you cry. You're going to be a man someday. You're not allowed to do that shit. We're shamed. And then when we grow up, we don't know what the fuck to do. We don't know the words. We don't know how to communicate our fucking feelings unless we actually start getting some help, seeking some help, getting some therapy, starting to figure out this shit. And I'm grateful that's where I'm at now. I figured out a lot of this shit, that I'm coming with this message to try and inspire some of you guys to start figuring out your shit, taking that total ownership of your life. And unfortunately, we can't change what's happened, right? When you go back in and you start replaying these little childhood fucking memories, the ones that are like the big ones, the traumatic things, and sometimes even the littlest thing, you know, someone speaking something over you that was an authority or teacher or just an influencer in your life as a child, someone that you just looked up to, right? They speak something over you and it's their insecurity. Well, they just passed on that to you, and it makes an impression on you. And then it comes up in your self-talk every day, fucking 30 years later, 40 years fucking later, you're still wondering why you fucking you don't have the self-confidence to fucking try and chase after your dreams and goals instead of chasing after somebody else, another human being, to bring your happiness to you, for you to feel whole and complete. That's not how it's supposed to be, you guys. Another person is not what makes you whole and complete, right? But yet we've sold that story as that's the fucking story of life. There's something wrong with you if you don't have this fucking Disney fucking movie. Like, again, any motherfuckers heartbroken because they believe the fucking Disney script, right? The little princess and fucking Prince Charming. And all you've gotten out of relationships is fucking heartbreak, right? Fucking disappointment, right? Expectations unmet. But some pleasure. There's definitely some pleasure in there. But man, that pleasure don't feel as fucking pleasurable when you're feeling the pain of heartbreak. And it's so fucking important, man, to validate yourself. I had to learn that, right? Being someone that had an anxious attachment style with someone with an avoidant attachment style, man, that is two fucking polar opposites colliding. and sometimes not colliding because they're just repelling themselves emotionally away from each other. That when I get into the fight mode, I felt like I was in a pretty safe and secure place. But sometimes what I would want to make peace, I'd have this anxious attachment. Come on. I'm sorry. I know I said something or did something. Forgive me. And, my partner was the avoidance style, and they're like, get away from me. And I, the love language kicks in too. I'm a physical, is my number one, physical touch. So I'm like, come on, like, I just need a hug. Let's hug and everything will be fine, right? We could clear the air. And the person I was with was avoiding, don't you touch me, right? Like swinging at me and shit. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, come on, let's clear, like, stop, let's stop. And this person's like, don't touch me, right? And that's hard, especially if you're, someone that, again, if your love language is physical touch and you're an anxious person, man, whoa, that shit will mess with you, especially if you're codependent. So it took me really like examining the situation and the circumstances to be like, fuck, why do I need this person so much? Why do I feel so bad about myself that I need this person to hug me to feel good? And again, it goes back to mom, right? Mom, the attachment style, the codependency, right? Because most of us, anytime we felt bad, right? And this isn't everybody. That's why you have the avoidance, and that's why you have the anxious. So even when we talk about mothers, there's a lot of mother experiences that are very painful, just like there's a lot of father issues, right? We got daddy issues and we got mommy issues in this world. But at least if we can disconnect from our own personal experience and just think about who you could be today, if you're a mother or a father, you want to exemplify maybe not the example you had if it wasn't healthy and secure. You want to try and find some mentors and have some people that you can look up to that do demonstrate a healthy, secure relationship. That even if it comes from a movie or entertainment or something, when you can see someone being a role model as a healthy parent, right? Someone that doesn't reject you, shame you, isolate you, threaten to abandon you, someone that says, come here. Like if they're hurting, it's you becoming what you need, right? The things you need from someone else, fucking stop that shit. Stop it. Everyone's got their own issues. You can't put that kind of pressure on people as a fucking adult. Adulting in 2022 is about being self-sufficient. It's about having an independent mind. But we can't get so fucking independently focused that we disengage from all other fucking human activities, right? That we give up on the possibility of having that human connection. But it's important that you stop enough to literally find someone that can be a role model. Or when you can look at this, you can say, I know what it was in my experience that was painful, abusive, neglectful, whatever it is. But you know that when you are hurting, if you don't have the ability to self-regulate your own emotions as an adult because you're hurting, that you need to go to somebody else. It's like the person that you go to, if they shame you or question you or try and fix all your problems, like that usually doesn't leave you feeling better. You just want someone that's going to like be there, listen, comfort you, validate you, reassure you, right? But that's still asking a lot of another human being. And I tell you guys this all the time. If you have someone in your life that's there for you through thick and thin, doesn't have to be an intimate partner, could be a friend, could be an acquaintance, but you know that when you're down and out, when you're going through some shit, you reach out to them and they're there for you genuinely, not expecting anything in return. They just say, hey, I care about you. You matter. Your feelings matter. I hear you're having a really tough day. I hope you feel better. Is there anything that I could do to help you out today? Right? That's a pretty special person to have in your life. Cherish and value that type of person, especially if it doesn't come with some bullshit strings attached. It's just genuine. It's a caring person, right? But I used to, when I'd get in the conflict, I was wanting to squash it and like, come on, let's hug. Let's just hug, some physical touch. We can reconnect. And this person was just going through who knows what emotionally, that they would reject me. And I would freak out. I would want more. I'd get even more needy being rejected, because then that kicks me into fucking overdrive saying, oh shit, this person's going to abandon me. They won't even hug me. They just told me they loved me 5 minutes ago, but they won't even give me a hug right now. They're telling me to fucking go away. Don't touch me. Like, man, that fucked me up. And I had to really see it, and I had to disconnect. I had to learn how to disconnect and provide space, you guys. Space to disengage. Some people, we just need fucking space to clear our fucking heads, especially when we have unresolved fucking childhood trauma. We just need space to collect our thoughts, especially if you're like the introvert type. You're overthinking every fucking scenario. And a lot of this shit you're manifesting because your thoughts are so fucking negatively focused. But it took me growing as a man to be able to disengage and then go and have some time by myself to say, dude, what is it? Why are you like that? Why are you so needy? Right? Why do you need someone to hug you to feel good again? Why are you allowing that person that type of control over your fucking emotional state of being? And that's what it comes down to, right? You cannot allow something from outside of you to control your emotions. You still have control. That's been one of the biggest motivating factors of this journey. It's all on me for 10 fucking years has been, I didn't trust myself emotionally speaking for fucking ever. Definitely when I was still a drunk. But even throughout this fucking journey of self-discovery, growth, right? Trying to figure out who I am, all the therapy, hypnosis, all this different stuff, is I had to finally get to a point where I'm like, I need control over my emotions. And what I realized is that as I started to change the meaning of these stories, having these healthy conversations with my mother, going back in time, talking to other family members that were a part of these tragic incidences, talking to my step-grandmother, right, about me getting kidnapped and shit, and giving all these things new meaning. I can't change them, and you can't delete them. You don't get to just forget about this shit. You can, but guess what? There's no healing. There's no healing by just forgetting, because by forgetting, what are you doing? You're burying it in the deepest, darkest part of your fucking soul that you ain't gonna let nobody else into. Because if you do, everybody's gonna know who the real you is, and they're gonna judge you and they're gonna abandon you. So you keep it hidden, and you think that you've overcome it because 20 years has passed, 30 years has passed, but it hasn't. Because if you go back to thinking about it, the emotions that you had in that moment, regardless of how much time has passed, you'll go right back into that emotional state of being. That's the truth. And the only way you're going to change the emotional state of being with your nervous system, right? You have sympathetic and the asympathetic nervous system, fight or flight shit, is you have to give your experiences new meaning. You are the author of your story, and your thoughts is what creates your reality today. So whatever situation you find yourself in today, know that it's because of how you think. If you find yourself in a less than ideal situation, you find yourself feeling like you're not where you could have been in life, that's a hard place. That's a hard reality to wake up, because guess what? You can't fucking get time back. You've lost it. We just lost another 48 minutes now. We're coming up on what, 300 motherfuckers that have taken their last breath in this hour in the US alone. That's almost like 7,500 people worldwide have taken their last breath this hour. Almost 250,000 people die every single day on this earth we call home. And you can't get the time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And that's the seriousness. That's why I keep getting back on here each and every day, whether I got a fucking script laid out for you and all these ideas, or I can just get up, stick to my fucking daily routine, right? And then just start speaking my truth to you guys, because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've invested the time, the energy, and the effort to transform myself, to get some control over my emotional fucking being, you guys. Anybody wants some more fucking control, some emotional regulations. As an elementary teacher teaching 4th and 5th grade, so we're talking 10 and 11 years olds pretty much, right? One of the biggest things is they wanted us to identify when a child was expressing traumatic fucking signs, right? That they were under duress, that they were stressed out. And we would have like a little quiet corner, a little soothing corner in the room. Like that's how significant trauma was in the school. We had all these little tactile, even like fucking they could go and sit there and do like a little fucking timeout, quiet themselves with some little things to play with, and even like fucking covers over their eyes, and just to be able to try and help support them regulating their emotions. This is children, you guys. This is real-time trauma that they were experiencing. I had kids that had parents in the last year, multiple kids in my class had parents that had committed suicide. I guarantee you there was multiple kids in my class. Almost every kid was dealing with some level of neglect and emotional abuse. Some of boys and girls were dealing with physical abuse, sexual abuse, all of this shit. You can see it as a teacher with 30 fucking kids in this very trauma-informed school. And the big thing that they would always focus on, that they would talk about, is that, the kids, they don't have an ability to emotionally regulate. They couldn't emotionally regulate. So they act out, they lash out. I'd have kids that would just get frustrated with themselves because they wouldn't understand the concept, reading or math or writing, and they would just fucking lose it and storm out of the fucking classroom, right? Get up and run out, or scream, or just have a fucking breakdown, a meltdown. And guess what? Some of you as adults are doing the same thing. And how do I know that? Because I was doing that same thing, but doing it in different ways. I was running to fucking alcohol, right? To soothe my pain. Some of you are running to other people for pleasure, because you can't fucking emotionally regulate yourself by yourself. You're codependent. You need someone else to be there to soothe you, to hold you. And all of that triggers fucking and it symbolizes where your issues lie, and it lies in your childhood, and it lies in those daddy and mommy issues. And the thing is we don't have to continue to live in that kind of suffering, that kind of emotional dysregulation where you don't have control over it. And I was on a warpath to figure out and solve this fucking very complex equation in my head as to why the fuck I would lose it, fight or flight, why this fucking had to happen, and why other emotional fucking issues have happened just in recent years, in fucking toxic relationships, having fights, even being emotionally abusive, losing control of myself. I was like, I can't accept this version of myself anymore. And I'm willing to do anything to get past it. And unfortunately, there were some days that anything meant fucking putting a fucking bullet in my head, but it never happened. But it's not that it wasn't something I didn't think about, to just fucking quiet the fucking noise and stop the pain. Anybody there right now where you just want to quiet the noise and stop the pain, and you're using all this other shit to do that, to numb the fucking pain, you're checking out. And it's a sad place to be, you guys. I've been there. That's why I keep showing up, because I'm trying to fucking reach you guys and let you know that, look, it doesn't have to be that way. You can change today. You can be today can be the day. One choice can get you through that breaking point, man. You can bust through that fucking barrier, that emotional, psychological barrier that's holding you back from truly feeling your best, being your best, doing your best, and making a huge impact. In the world, maybe not so much. Why don't you just make a huge impact in your life today? And it starts with the fucking inside. It starts with you taking total ownership, getting real with yourself, quit bullshitting everybody, right? This journey ain't easy, but you guys see how fucking transparent I am. right? I talked about fucking, going through the whole fallout, right? Right after this, man, I got let out of the jail, and I made a lot of bad decisions out of anger and frustration, not being able to control my emotions, that eventually led me to fucking, cheating on my ex-wife. And I want to give myself all the excuses as to why that would be okay, right? Because I had divorce papers, I had a separation, I had restraining orders, I had a criminal fucking charges. I had every fucking reason, right? To say, oh, that relationship's over. But I'm someone that is kind of old school. It ain't over till it's over, right? It ain't over till it's officially over. But some of y'all move on before it even is official. Because some of y'all been cheating just while it's still going. And that's bullshit, you guys. It sucks, right? It sucks if you're that type of person. And I hate to be hard on you, right? But you got to be fucking, you're probably pretty hard on yourself. So I know I can never be as hard on you because no one feels good doing that. There ain't no fucking person that feels good cheating on a fucking spouse, especially if you're married. There's no fucking way you're going to have a peace of mind chasing after a fucking piece of ass that ain't the one that you said I do to, right? And I told you guys how I handled it. And it's crazy because, back then I was mixing it up in the Christian churches, and I went to some pretty big pillars in the community from the Christian standpoint. And they gave me the worst advice. They said, don't say shit, man. Don't say shit. You don't want to be telling her about what you did. And I was like, that ain't right. I can't do that. I can't I can't start to cultivate the seeds of reconciliation, because that's where me and my ex were going towards. We were starting to communicate. In the long story short, you guys, after the mugshot, right, we were separated for 10 months. But we had started about halfway through that, some reconciliation. And I knew that I'm not that person. I can't carry a lie around like that, right? I can't let someone have a false pretense of who I am and what I've done. And so I really there's a scripture in the Bible. It says, he who knows the truth will set him free. Well, what's the truth, right? Well, we talk about this truth. You need to know your truth. Well, this is my truth. And that's why I'm not scared to speak it. No matter how you judge it, interpret it, filter it through your own fucking perspective, this is my truth, and it's going out to the world. And I don't care what you think. And I'm encouraged when you respond to it in kind, and you're motivated and encouraged, and it stirs something in you to make you stop and think about your circumstances, to try and maybe bust through and start doing something. But I knew for me, right, I couldn't carry that around to my grave. Now, some of y'all are cowards. Some of y'all will. And that I don't know what happens on the other side of that, right? The truth is, I don't fucking truly know what the fuck happens when we take that final breath, right? Heaven, hell, right? Judgment, sin, all this shit. I don't know. I honestly don't know, man. And I've read through the whole Bible. I've tried all kinds of spiritualities. I don't know. I'm neutral right now. I'm just kind of in my space. I'm really just focused on this and this message. And I know it's full of positivity. It's full of inspiration. It's full of real action, real healing. Not this magic wand shit where you just fucking say a prayer and you good. Because I did that, right? I was up there preaching the word. I was up there singing the worship, taking care of the kids ministry, doing all this service. And I would still be feeling like a miserable fuck behind it all, underneath it all, because that it didn't bring about real healing. It got my mind off of it. It distanced me from the pain that I was feeling. But again, I was still running subconscious programs that when certain life circumstances would pop up and cause stress to me, I would default to the broken, unhealed motherfucker. And that would cause what? A lot more pain and suffering. And all the prayer and whatever did not ever fix it. So my process has been very much different from any sort of religious ideology. My process to getting to where I feel truly whole and complete and healed, and not completely healed, I still got a lot of healing to do. The shadow work is a big piece of it. And I talked about that shadow work, that darkness early on. And that's freaked out a bunch of you motherfuckers. If you're still tuning in here, right? The darkness. I had to accept the dark self, the dark side of my personality, of who I am. And there's balance in it, just like there's day and night, good and evil. There's balance inside of us. You can't just whitewash the fucking primal darkness of who you are. And that doesn't mean that darkness has to be evil. We think, oh, it's evil if you're dark. No, those are stories made up by people. There is evil in this world. There's not a fucking denial of that. But there is something inside of us that could truly become evil. We are all capable of manifesting evil, doing wicked things, right? And anybody that's in denial of that, you think you're such a goody, good, you're probably the most dangerous motherfucker on the block. If you don't think you're capable of doing some heinous, wicked shit. I'm loving this conversation, but I told you guys, I'm going to always keep it real, 100%. I'm also going to keep it confidential. If you are someone that needs someone to fucking talk to today, hit me up. If it's not me, right, I'm not over here pretending to be a fucking psychologist or therapist, right? I look at myself as a transformational life coach, a leader, a mentor, and just a motherfucker that's been through the dirt. And I continue to stay here in the dirt because that's where some of you are right now. And I want to be around my people. But we're going to fucking climb up to some mountains. We're going to overcome some fucking obstacles. If we stick with it, this program, waking up every fucking day, we take no fucking days off. But in order for me to get right with that situation, right, the one time I've cheated was I had to confess that shit. I had to tell the person that I had been with, look, I fucked up. I am sorry. You have every right to hate me, to be mad at me, but I have to cut you off of my life. I can never talk to you fucking again, right? That woman did not take that well. And she would attack me. I didn't just change my fucking phone number. I didn't just block her. I just let her fucking continue to go off on me until she finally stopped. But I stuck to my guns. I never talked to her again. And then I had to go confess to my ex-wife, but my wife at the time, what had happened. And this whole, the truth will set you free, all these motherfuckers that are all these spiritual gurus telling me that don't you say that, you'll never be able to get her back. Fear. I hate fear. I hate it in a way that when it's there, I usually want to go check out and see what's on the other side of that. And that's a hard thing to do. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude, mental toughness, guts, courage, real courage is getting to the other side of your fear. But as soon as I told her that, right, she fucking ran out the door, avoidant like a motherfucker. But the next day I had to pick up my son at her place. And we just had this eye contact. If you've ever been in a close relationship with somebody, there's something about that eye contact where we caught eyes, and I had a feeling that it was going to be okay. Right. That what that did was it set her free to know the truth. She knew the truth, which that then allowed her to be set free, where she could have ran. She could have said, for sure, I made the right decision filing divorce on you and all this stuff. But instead, it freed her up to actually accept me more. And in the end, right, we did reconcile. 10 months of separation. And then we wrote out another 7 years, right, of a marriage. And it ended in divorce because we eventually grew apart. How much that played into it, I'll never know. But I do know that that's how I handled my situation, right? And it didn't go the way that a lot of people think it would go. But for some of you, How, you know, some of you do need to get real with your partner. Tell the fucking truth, right? And that may lead to ending your relationship. But how can you carry that around and expect to have peace of mind, to have comfort, to get blessings, to have any of your real life's fulfillments enjoyed? Like, you can still do experiences, but there's just, I don't know. I guess some of you guys know how to fucking compartmentalize that shit, and you can just totally disconnect from the emotional toll that puts on you. That you'll still go home and sleep next to somebody, but you're cheating on them, right? And it doesn't have to just mean physically cheating on them, having sex behind their back. It could be emotional, right? You can be having emotional fucking relationships with people that aren't your spouse. And I'm not judging you if you're doing that. I don't judge any motherfuckers. I just kind of I'm hurting for you, right? Because I know that it has to be a lot of pain to get to that place, right? I think that there has to be a lot of hurt and a lot of brokenness and a lot of pain underneath the surface. And that is something that I respond to, is human suffering in all shapes and sizes, right? I've seen it all. I've seen natural disaster. I've seen man-made fucking destruction. And I've seen psychological and emotional suffering. And there's probably a lot more than that than any else, right? In this world, there's a lot of physical suffering. There's a lot of conditions in this world that create human suffering. But man, the psychological shit that happens right here is pretty fucking great. And it doesn't got no barriers or boundaries. It don't give a fuck who you are, what you've done. Our fucking heads can really take us for a fucking trip. But I want you to know, you gotta find your truth. You gotta take some ownership. And there's no better day than now to really examine how you can start improving yourself, holding yourself accountable. Quit bullshitting your fucking self. Quit bullshitting these people around you, right? Misleading them, right? Because someone told you, hey, don't ever tell them that, man, or your relationship's done. You know what? Trying to hold on to something that is already past its expiration date. Any of you guys like eating fucking food that's a year old, right? I'm not a meat eater, but even vegetables get fucking old, and I got to throw them out sometimes. I got to let go of them. I'm lucky enough I got compost, so I at least try and put most of the shit in there. But any motherfuckers, if you think about it, that spoiled ass rotten meat, that spoiled curdled milk, them rotten ass vegetables with mold and just, right? And some of y'all are holding on to parts of your holding on to a relationship that's way past its expiration date. And you're suffering, and you're doing it in silence. You're putting on that smile because you have this image. You're trying to preserve an image of living a good life. That's some shallow fucking shit, man. It's time to grow up in 22. It's time to stop being it's time to accept the fucking pain and the trauma that the child inside of each and every one of us has experienced. To go in there and give that child inside of you the love and the affection it needs from yourself, from the parent part of who you are, right? To give yourself new meaning, to empower yourself, not somebody else, to really have this relationship, cultivate this healthy relationship with yourself, right? And it's going to probably mean letting go of a lot of shit that matters to you right now. And it's hard to let go of shit. I know what that is. I've lost a lot of things, you guys. I've lost it all. I've lost everything. I've even lost my fucking mind. Some of y'all motherfuckers might think I've lost my mind right now. But in honesty, I've never been more clear and focused and assured of who I am. And that's what fucking matters on this morning. Go out there, fucking make a difference today. Start there. If you're fucking down, go help somebody out. Don't expect nothing in return. Let's go out there and volunteer. Let's share some kindness. But why don't you start being kind to yourself? And it starts with being honest with yourself. Remember, results kill excuses. It's all on me, motherfuckers.